call Kennedy Graham.
Thank you, Mr. Speaker. Just to confirm that the Green Party will be supporting this bill, as was explained in the first and second readings. We support the Minister's general view, that the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank represents an advance in the region, an advance in world affairs, and that there are strong strategic reasons, which I think both Honourable David Parker and David Shearer pointed out as well, and many of the esteemed national colleagues as well, that there is a strong strategic reason for New Zealand to be involved in this and to support China's initiative and support the general promotion of poverty reduction and the spread of wealth in Asia and the Pacific. We are, with respect to the, I think the only political party that is opposing is New Zealand First, and we always give respect to New Zealand First when they produce reasons. We find from their argumentation 3 reasons that they have articulated not to support it. With respect, we do not agree with that. The first was, in the second reading at least, the money should be New Zealand dollars, 145 million New Zealand dollars should be spent in New Zealand and not in Asia. Secondly, that the Chinese economy is not a completely open and free market economy, and that you need personal connections to get anything done successfully in the Chinese economy. And third, that joining the bank would undermine New Zealand's in relationship and ties with the United States. We disagree with each of those. We think the money should be spent in Asia. It is both in New Zealand's interests and Asia's interest that is the case. You probably have to have connections to do anything in any country, in any economy, including New Zealand. You just have to understand the culture properly. And thirdly, undermining the relationship with the United States is a distorted view, I think, of the 21st century perception. And I think the Green Party would take this moment to call on the United States and Japan to shed the 20th century perception of strategic rivalry and, in fact, to get up to speed with the 21st century, recognise China for what it is and what its potential is, to assist in the peaceful ascendancy of China and a general regional cooperation and harmony, and get involved in the bank. So we would encourage at this last moment New Zealand First to reflect on that and actually change its vote to support. We do, and I don't want to take up further time of the committee because it has been well canvassed in the previous readings, but just one point that does need to be made, and made strongly, and that is the imbalance that this government continues to show in terms of its perception of what economic sustainability is all about in the 21st century. That it is not just about economic growth, which is essentially, if you read the preamble to the articles and you listen to the peroration of national colleagues, you tend to think it's still all about economic growth. It isn't. It's about sustainability and the increasing quality of life and prosperity within the context of sustainability. And if that fundamental principle is not well established, both in the constitutional foundations of this bank and the day-to-day operations of it, then we are doomed. And New Zealand government has done nothing to allay concerns in that respect when it provides 145 million New Zealand dollars to the bank. And how much to the United Nations Green Climate Fund? 4 million Kiwi. 145 for economic growth, 4 million for climate control. Wrong, sir. Run them together, $150 million New Zealand, split them in two, 75 million to the Asia Infrastructure Investment Bank, 75 million to the United Nations Green Climate Fund. That would bring New Zealand up to a respectable level per capita with all the other contributors to the UN Green Climate Fund. They range from $60 to $8 per person from Norway down to Australia. and New Zealand 60 cents. So our priorities, as we convey them to the world in this respect, and in the context of full support for New Zealand to be a member of the Asian Infrastructure Investment Bank, we call on the government to reassess the actual financial quantum in terms of its contributions to the bank on the one hand and to the Climate Fund on the other. Thank you.